Efficiency, improved data collection, and tracking of product distribution lines are just a few of the benefits for customers of Her Majesty's Customs Department as it moves towards full automation of its cargo declaration system with the introduction of its CAPS Web Trader program. For the Department of Information and Public Relations, I am GIS Information Officer Nadia James Harris, and I'm pleased to welcome you to part 1 in our series on the services provided by the Department and the upcoming introduction of its CAPS Web Trader program. Mr. Smith, welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me.
Her Majesty's Customs Department is one of the territory's border control or border protection agencies, is it not?
That's correct.
What are some of the roles and services provided by the department?
Well, first, I'd like to begin by saying that Her Majesty's Customs this year is celebrating its 40th anniversary as a department. Back in 1975, we began as a unit more or less under the Treasury Department of the government of the Virgin Islands. The roles basically is to provide border protection for the territory, for the citizens, visitors, and residents alike, and also facilitate legitimate trade, in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, 40 years of existence. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Speaking of 40 years, where are some of the locations where your offices and your officers can be found?
We have 9 locations, Joseph Van Dyke, Great Harbour, Joseph Van Dyke, Soapers Hole in the western area, Road Town, Port Purcell, Beef Island, Terence B. Lettsome International Airport, Spanish Town, Virgin Gorda, Anegada, the settlement in Anegada, the airport at Virgin Gorda, and Gun Creek in Virgin Gorda.
9 locations.
That's about 9 locations.
And the services, can the services provided by the department be found at all 9 of these locations, or would it be limited services depending on where you are operating?
Currently, there may be some limited services depending on where, what service you're looking for. But as we streamline customs business processes, which my colleagues will elaborate on a little more as it relates to the customs automated processing system, we're expecting to streamline all business processes at all ports of entry. Basically, we're looking for uniformity at all ports of entry.
And in relation to the ports of entry and working with other agencies, what are the other government agencies or even non-governmental agencies that the department works with?
Well, locally, we work very closely with the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. We work closely with the Immigration Department, Department of Agriculture, Central Statistics Unit of the central government. We work closely with a non-government agency would be VISAR. We assist them whenever they call on us. And there are a number of other agencies that we would work with. We work with a financial investigative agency as well. Internationally, we work with a number of law enforcement agencies throughout the Caribbean and organizations, including the Caribbean Customs Law Enforcement Council, which BVI was a chair of about 4 years ago. We work with Coast Guard and immigration of the French, Saint Martin, and we work very closely with our U.S. colleagues, Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Coast Guard, and we work closely with an agency out of the U.S. Virgin Islands called HIDA, which stands for High Intensity Drug Traffic Area Agency, which is a federally funded agency in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico.
So, Mr. Smith, based on what I'm hearing from you, would it be safe to say that the collaboration, the success of the department has depended a lot on the intergovernmental collaborations, both locally and overseas?
That's correct. And we also provide assistance to other other overseas territories who would need assistance. For example, we've had success. We were called upon by Anguilla a few years ago, and we sent our K9 unit to Anguilla and assisted them in what is known as their largest drug bust, probably about 8 years ago. And we also assisted the Turks and Caicos Customs Department in the training of their K9 officers. And that was conducted here in the BVI a few years ago as well.
And speaking of these collaborations and all of the work that the department has been doing over the years, both locally, regionally, and internationally, what are some of the new initiatives that the public can look forward to seeing coming out of the department this year? Well,
beginning last year, what we did, we extended the hours of a number of our ports, including West End and Virgin Gorda. That basically was to facilitate boaters and travelers arriving late to the BVI. We extended hours from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. That has benefited a number of travelers and boaters of the BVI community. We're also looking forward to the implementation of our new, what we call Courier Compliance Unit and Duty-Free Supervisor. This is a new initiative that we're trying to implement, as we have come to realize that of all the courier services in the territory, they're responsible for facilitating probably 35 to 45% of all imports into the BVI. With the implementation of the Customs Automated Processing System, it is expected that once customs businesses become streamlined, that officers will be removed from doing clerical work to doing more officer-type work, which would be more inspections. And we're looking to have more inspections at the major port, which is Port Purcell, or major cargo port, as well as a number of the courier services in the BVI.
And how can the public assist with or even cooperate with the Customs Department as they seek to get these new initiatives up and running and as it benefits overall to the territory?
Well, first, I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to share with the public some of our new initiatives and also to inform the public. Overall, I must say that the public has been very supportive in assisting the Customs Department, giving information when information needs to be shared. So I must commend the public for that. And again, I'll commend you and this program for getting us out there as well. What we're looking for, and I will say on the air, is that we're looking for greater compliance. The Customs Department is not in the business of fining anyone, but we've had a lot of non-compliance, which leads to major fines and penalties. And that's not what we want to do. We want full compliance, and by having full compliance, we'll see a major increase in revenue collection for the territory. If we don't have compliance, then it's a possibility of duty evasion, commercial fraud, human trafficking, human smuggling, etc. And we're basically looking for the public to share information with us and to more or less follow the rules and laws of the Customs Department, so we do not have to impose any major fines.
Mr. Smith, I hear you talking about compliance and non-compliance, these terms that are used, just so that the public has a full understanding of what you are referring to in terms of compliance, because you've just mentioned human trafficking, you've just mentioned a whole list of what we can say are illicit activities, yes?
Correct.
So could you elaborate more on compliance as it relates to these areas?
Compliance as it relates to these areas, specifically from the boating community standpoint, is once you enter the BVI, you'll follow the rules and procedures that are outlined by law, going to a port of entry and making a declaration to Immigration and Customs. That's the type of compliance we're looking for from the maritime industry. Compliance from the traders' standpoint, we're looking for traders to make proper and true declarations to Customs. In the event that true and proper declarations are not made, our post-audit unit may detect some type of commercial fraud, and it can lead to major fines and penalties, and in some cases, prosecution.
Major fines, major penalties, and in some cases prosecution, which means it is better to obey and comply.
Better to obey and comply. More or less to clear out a vessel or clear in a vessel will run you less than $20. But in the event that you do not comply, it can be a fine of $10,000, possibility of losing your boat, etc.
$20 versus $10,000 and loss of boat and possibly income or revenue for that person.
Correct.
As we prepare to wrap up this aspect of our program, could you share with our viewers the information in terms of contacting your officers and email that if they have any questions or queries on how they can work with the department better going forward?
Yes, I would like to say you can contact the department at 284-468-6800, and you can ask for any one of myself, the commissioner, or the deputy commissioners, or assistant commissioners, and our numbers will be shared at that time. Our numbers are public numbers. You can call at any time. You can stop by the office at any time, and one of the managers, which are the commissioners, any one of the commissioners will be there to assist you at any time. No appointment needed.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you for being on the program with us.
Thank you for having me.
My guest on today's program has been Commissioner of Customs, Mr. Wade Smith. We've been talking about the upcoming CAPS Web Trader program and the services provided by Her Majesty's Customs Department. Join us for part 2 in our series as we hear from Assistant Commissioner of Customs for Enforcement, Mr. Greg Romney, and CAPS System Administrator, Mr. Azim Williams. For the Department of Information and Public Relations and the Premier's Office, I've been your host, GIS Information Officer Nadia James Harris. Remember, for all of your official government news and latest updates, visit the government website at bvi.gov.vg or follow us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at BVI Government.